Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of episode 443.
Hello.
Look, I have
Hey,
this way.
There you go.
People that weren't here before.
no,
They're very attractive people.
Now we're here.
we made
and
it
much
finally.
younger than the old guys that did the last part.
Well, if you combine our ages, then we're older. But
Yeah, but I don't think it works that way, Steph.
oh, okay.
Miami Rick
No.
on the ground or in the air.
Well, it looks.
Well, it depends who you ask.
It appears to me it's a very nice crew rest facility you have there, Rick.
As I said, it almost
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
a cruise ship. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's got a
Porthole
porthole
window.
here. You know, a little bit of turbulence right now.
Oh, look.
So. No, I'm on the ground. I landed at what was it? 7:50, I think it was, and then I went through a lovely queue, as they call it here, because a 787 packed from Air India
oh, geez.
landed before us.
So half of India was going through
Oh yeah,
immigration
half
before.
of India's here, and there's no crew line for that. So yeah.
Oh, man.
So it was.
Do you have like any kind of a thing like not known crew member, but like what do they call those special things? Yeah, global entry and that kind of thing. Does that work over there?
No. Here it's like the Stone Age back here. It really is.
And if you're from Australia, you can write into I'm offended
Rick
at
at
Airline.
no Rick,
Rick.
at airlinepilotguy.com. Not
There
I'm
you go.
offended.
There you go.
Although if you do send it to I'm offended, I'll just forward it to Rick.
I'll get it regardless.
I'm offended.
Mike,
Attention,
Mike
Rick.
Kuipers, yay! How you doing, man?
Sounds like he was here before.
Yeah, he was for part 1, and
Glutton
he's
for
back for
punishment
part
there,
2.
Mike.
And I always enjoy reading your highlight of my day, HOMD, on Facebook, Mike. Always
Yes,
good
I read
stuff.
those.
And I have a question for you, Mike. We talked about a movie on the show, and then you reviewed it on your HOMD, and I just can't remember what the movie was now. Dang it.
Was it
And
that aviation, that 7,500 or
No,
no?
no, it was something else. Oh, I
0
think
hour?
It was the oh, shoot, I don't know. But anyway, I was going to ask him if it was because we talked about it on the show, or if it just happened to be coincidental. He'll know what I'm talking about. So he's typing away right now, telling me that I've lost my mind.
Bonjour. I'm not sure that's the appropriate way to make that
Bonjour.
hello again in
Okay,
French.
I
but
haul boxes.
I like
What's
it.
your name again? I keep forgetting it. What is your name? Your real name? You know, he probably doesn't want us to know.
No, he doesn't. That's why he's I haul boxes, obviously.
Okay. I always feel bad about referring to him as I haul boxes.
I mean, it's apparently how he's referring to himself. So
I haul, yeah.
I
I
haul.
haul is his first name. Boxes is his last name.
his cousin U-Haul. And
U-Haul boxes.
Skyjacked? No, it wasn't
Skyjacked.
Skyjacked.
Yeah, and the redheaded stepchild Penske.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Penske.
Couldn't follow the convention, naming convention.
Yeah.
So what this tells me from Mike Kuiper's guessing Skyjacked is that he did not review that movie that we had talked about on the previous show. So it was just coincidental, though. Okay. Which is perfectly fine with me. I'm not offended at all. Okay. Liz is telling me to get off my
To start doing the
something
thing,
and do like the show thing.
do work.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get the thing set up properly. And
Do you want me to record anything?
no, because I don't think Rick is, so it's kind of a moot point.
Sorry, didn't mean to talk
And
about
it's not a mute point; it's a moot, M-O-O-T point. Just in
People
case
call it
you're
a mute
wondering.
point.
Or you could call it like Joey did in Friends, a moo point.
A moo point.
Hey, no apologies necessary, Mike. We love you, man. All right. Oh, I need to record.
You might.
I did that the
I'm
last
glad you
time
realized that now and not
me too.
30 minutes from now.
Because it's made my life miserable doing editing without the recording.
The recorded audio.
Can't tell you how much more difficult it is for me. Okay, so I got the recording going, and I'm going to go over here to this, and I'm going to hit this. Hit it. Well, would you look at this? From her lakeside studio in the Carolinas. She's a doctor, skydiver, marathon runner, strength training junkie, IPA connoisseur, and commercial multi-engine instrument rated skydive pilot, Dr. Steph.
Hey, Captain Jeff. It is so good to finally be here with you guys. Had intentions of joining you and Captain Nick for part 1 a little bit earlier, but, sometimes work gets in the way. So just one of those days, and I'm glad to be here with you guys now. So.
Did you say work?
Work.
I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great to have you with us, Steph. And also joining us from his mobile studio in Sydney, Australia.
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
World traveler, airplane mechanic, Breitling cognoscenti, fitness hound, and international air freight captain. It's Miami Rick.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be back. Flew across an ocean and across another ocean to be here. But I'm happy to be here. Happy you're here. Looking forward to another great
Do you
one.
remember which oceans they were?
Ocean's 11? No.
I don't know. Some oceans.
So you're in Las
Lots of
Vegas.
water. Who
Okay.
cares?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Quit asking me stuff like that. Well, great to have you with us, Rick. Part 2 of 443. And let's do this before we get on to anything else. Getting to know us, getting to know you, Miami Rick, and Dr. Steph before we get on. So, Rick.
Yes, sir.
First thing, how do you feel right now? You feel pretty chipper?
I think the Brits call it knackered.
Knackered, yes. Why is that? How long have you been up, sir?
Well, just the standard when I go flying these long trips. I got up at 9 in the morning Seoul time, so about 23 hours. So it's been a little while. Yeah, but the good thing here is that I don't fly for another 22 hours. So after we're done here, I'll get a nice bite to eat, and then call it a day. Wake up early in the morning, do my little gym routine, and then go back to flying. So I should be back to 100% tomorrow morning.
So they're like in super serious lockdown there, right?
It's great. If you have a couple of spare days, do come down to Australia. If you want to, get acquainted with your hotel room, it's good times.
So do you have to eat in the hotel room? I mean, the hotel itself?
No, well, they have this overpriced menu here with what is it? A $27 burger, which is not that good. So usually what I do is I'll just so we stay right in it's called Coogee Beach. So there's a lot of it's a beautiful place actually. It's right on the beach. I have a balcony, which is one of the good things I guess that we get by being locked up in the room. We get a nice balcony with ocean view. So there's a lot of restaurants and a lot of places to eat. So usually what I do is I'll just get Uber Eats, and since everything is just right next door, it'll usually be here inside of a half hour, 45 minutes. So it's really not that bad. It's just that you can't leave. But not that I would anyway, because I pretty, as I said, knackered. So
right, and that's in Aussie dollars, right? So it's probably
It's like $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still an
it's not-
expensive burger.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
still-
is,
still
it's
kinda
not that
high priced.
good. So
Yeah.
that's
I mean, a
the thing.
$20 burger, if it's like the best, burger you've ever had, fine.
Oh yeah, I've got no problem with
Yeah.
but if it's the $20 burger and it sucks, yeah, I have a problem with that. So
All right.
yeah.
So the last time you were on the show, you were in Korea.
I was in Korea. I was in Seoul. I had what did I do? Did I fly? I don't think did. I fly? Yeah, I must have gone. Well, I did. I did fly actually. I did the standard rice run that we do from Incheon, Seoul down to what's it called? Taipei, over to Nagoya, and then back to Seoul. I did that once, and then I had interesting. I had a day and a half there. So I actually headed over to downtown and kind of walked around there. I walked around the old Royal Palace right downtown Seoul, and then down one of the old art districts down there. So I kind of spent the day out and about, just walking around Seoul. Just it was a good time.
Do they have good Korean barbecue there?
They do. They do really good food. Food down there is great. I felt adventurous, and I actually took the subway from Incheon, which is it's all the way to the west, to the north. The west end of the city. So from the station that I got on to the station that I got off, the whole thing was over 2 hours. And Seoul is a huge city.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge city. But it was a good time. So I took the train over. Just cost about $3 for the whole thing.
Wow.
And then I just didn't feel like taking the train back, so I just rode a taxi. It was like $40, but no big deal. I wasn't taking the train back.
It was faster.
I was like, yeah. It's like, and even driving, haven't taken the cab back. It was 45 minutes. So
wow.
But it was nice.
Are they doing major lockdown there as well, or they opened everything back up?
No, I mean things are pretty much back to normal in Korea. And the one thing though is the restaurants and bars and stuff, they have to close by 9, which just it's kind of bad for bars because that's prime time, I guess, for them. But other than that, it's back to normal. Thankfully, the gym is open again. They just opened on Monday, so I was able to go there. So yeah, I mean things are slowly but surely going back to normal. So hopefully it'll start happening here too. So we'll
Excellent. All right. Well, great to see you again. And Stephanie,
yes, sir.
You probably haven't done a thing since the last show, right?
No. Well, last time we did a show, I was in Salt Lake City. I'd just gotten there. I'd just gotten off the airplane.
And you spent a few days there?
Spent a few days there. Got to see all of my siblings who live out that way and a couple of friends. So that was very nice. Had some really, really lovely weather in Salt Lake. It was a little on the chilly side when I first got there, and then a couple of days in the upper 80s and 90s, and kind of cool evenings this time of year. So that was really good. Did a lot of, actually it just ended up being kind of a restful vacation. First time getting away for more than like just a day or so since, I don't know, March. And did a lot of running with my one brother who does a lot of running as well. So we put in almost 30 miles over the weekend.
Wow.
And yeah, I convinced my other brother to go on a hike with me up at the top of Snowbird. So we took the tram up to Hidden Peak. It's 11,000 feet. So not super high, but then we hiked around about 1.5 miles, and that was a pretty good little hike. Had some good lunch after that. And yeah, it was really nice. You were talking about lockdown stuff. They're pretty similar there as we are here. Most things are open. Restaurants are open. Bars are open. Well, I think bars, as long as they serve food as well, were open. So good for my brothers. They're both in the restaurant/service industry. My younger brother, who I do all the running with, is a sushi chef. So we actually went to his restaurant, and two of the managers who are sushi chefs were kind of competing to see what interesting thing they could make up for us with each other. It's the best sushi I've had outside of Japan, hands down. It's phenomenal and good. So yeah, all in all, it was a really, really nice weekend.
Does he still have all his fingers?
Mostly.
Okay, mostly.
There was one incident one time where he tried to take off just the very tip of his little finger.
Yeah, those are sharp knives.
Sharp knife. Yeah, his knife came from Japan as well. We were over there.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that you all went shopping for some nice sushi.
Yeah,
knives.
what was that place? Rick might know. It's the Kapabachi Kitchen Street or something in Tokyo. It's just like blocks of just restaurant ware or like kitchenware and food service stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
it's a place to buy your sushi if you're a chef.
So you got back to Charlotte / North Carolina, South Carolina, the Carolinas, and you got to go back to work.
Yay! Super exciting.
You missed it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Those 3 days off went by really fast.
Yeah.
3 days in a weekend. But no, it's good to be back working. I've got a couple more days off coming up next month. So actually quite a few days. I've got just over a week.
Nice.
Kind of early mid-October. So
Nice.
That'll be nice. That'll be another good getaway. Hopefully do some, hit some national parks out west and see my family again a little bit and other friends. And yeah. And hopefully, we don't get completely washed out tomorrow with the remnants of Sally headed this way.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before we started the recording. It's now, I think, a tropical storm, and it's just to the south, maybe southwest of Atlanta right now. And its track initially was going to go like right over the top of Atlanta, or maybe a little bit to the north of Atlanta, which was going to be kind of devastating as far as a lot of rain and flooding is concerned. And now it's a little bit further to the south, so I don't think it's going to be quite so bad here in Atlanta. But
yeah, same for us. I think it's going to be tracking a little bit farther south than they.
Yeah, that's always a good thing because that'll be on the left side of the storm. So that's semi-devastating. Yes. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of rain right now, and it's supposed to get pretty heavy early in the morning through about midday tomorrow here. And then we're going to push it over to Steph. And she can deal with it.
We'll pick up the leftovers there. Take it from there.
So there you go. Well, I guess we're all caught up. Anything interesting coming up? Any of you?
Ooh, I do have one other thing to talk about while we're talking about this. Don't go anywhere.
Please do.
I put this over here so I wouldn't forget, and then I almost forgot about it anyway.
Oh, okay.
I received some real mail from.
Oh, a globe. You got a new globe. No, that's the same one you've always had.
That's my $5 Target globe. That's
the one that really doesn't
quite
have
line up
accurate,
right. No,
accurate depictions.
Not to be used for navigation.
Land masses.
Ooh.
So I received real mail here.
Neat.
From my listener.
Is that still a thing? Real mail?
Apparently.
Oh, wow.
Like handwritten.
Wow. Look at that.
Wow.
I know. So I'm going to go ahead and read this because it's pretty good. So it says, Dr. Steph, hi. I ordered this. Well, I'm just going to read it and then I'll show you the stuff that came into it. It was a very large box that arrived at my place of business. So I was a little unsure at first what to think of it. But it says,
it's a bomb.
Yeah. My coworker, it arrived on a day when I was over the weekend when I was out of town or on Monday or something. I came back, they were like, we have no idea what this is. I said,
somebody sent you an alarm clock.
Yeah, exactly. It's ticking. It's ticking. Yeah. Well, the return address label had an airplane on it. So I was like, I can take a guess as to where this might be going.
Yeah.
Says, I ordered this shirt as a medium and they sent a small. I've been meaning to send it to you since then. I guess I fell into the bottom 50% with size selection. This is from, I was going to say his name here first, Stuart Hendon from Westminster, Maryland. And it's actually one of our Osh Blast t-shirts from Oshkosh last year. So he is sending that to me because it does not fit him, unfortunately. He says, my wife and I met you in England at the Hogsback Motel. Then I met you again last summer at Oshkosh at the Arch. You were kind enough to walk with me to show me where the Winnebago type vehicle, to use Fisk controller style language, was. I was honored to meet Jeff, Nick, the old curmudgeon, Dana, and Liz. The shirt has never been worn. Thank you for specifying. And I can assure it is free of cooties, COVID, Clostridium, Campylobacter, etc. Those are interesting diseases. Thanks. You might remember that I told you about my new med for APG syndrome. I can't pronounce this the way he probably did. Apagalo. I don't know. He spelled it like labetalol or the type of medications that are beta blockers for heart rate. So he called it an APG blocker.
Okay. Is he somebody that's in the medical industry?
I can't remember. I think so.
Yeah.
But based on the yeah. So I also bought 2 books for you on Amazon, one of which is 351 pages and the other 188 pages. Please enjoy. Now, I set this up because these were the first things that I pulled out of the box, and the letter was on the very bottom. And I pulled it out and I was a little concerned at first because I recalled that I mentioned a reference to the movie Airplane at one point. We were talking about light reading material, and I said, "Oh, I have this leaflet of great Jewish sports legends or
Yes,
whatever."
I remember that.
And I thought perhaps that was taken the wrong way because I pulled these books out, and one is Great Jews in Sports, and the other one is just the 100 greatest Jews in sports.
Oh, wow.
So that was very, very funny. Once I finally got the letter and realized that he didn't think I was completely serious about
But you were
being disrespectful to the Jewish
No, you
faith
were.
and culture. And
was
no,
very
I
funny.
was not. The movie Airplane I cannot speak for, but it's very funny in the movie. And then the T-shirt. So
awesome.
He says, P.S. Stay healthy and wear your PPE. Also, I live not too far from Hillel, but I have trouble meeting with him. He is always in the bathroom. Again, that's Stuart Hendon from
Yeah.
Westminster,
There seems to be an issue with
Maryland.
them.
Yes, just one of many.
Yeah.
So,
Just kidding,
very
Hillel.
cool. Yeah,
Hillel's a great guy,
Yeah.
indeed.
He is.
Indeed.
He really is.
and he's very clean.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know,
Hygiene.
Well,
is
I don't know.
very
Has he used up all the soap yet?
No, I still have. Well, we're getting close to the end of the hotel soaps, so
Oh, got to
yeah,
go
we
back
could-
out to work.
we could
Get
have
more
a
hotel
problem.
soaps.
All right. So, anything else?
Nope, that's it. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Great.
I
Good
actually
job.
received those before the last show, but I did not have them with me in Salt Lake, and I wanted to.
You
do a
didn't
little
take
showing
them
though.
with you to Salt Lake for reading?
No, it wasn't quite light enough for
Yeah. For you, you
leaflet
take
style.
like hardly anything. All right. Well, excellent. So I think what we should do now is move on to part 2 news, and I'm not going to play any music for that. I'm just going to go right to it. And the first item in our news folder is a small plane makes emergency landing on I-75. No injuries after hit by truck. Huh? NaplesNews.com, the source. This was sent in from Bob Lufkin, and it says, no injuries were reported after a small airplane made an emergency landing in the eastbound lanes of Alligator. I'm glad they specified. Eastbound lanes of Alligator Alley on Wednesday morning, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. A truck collided with the left wing of the plane after it landed near mile marker 40. Troopers reported. Apparently the trucker was a little upset and jealous. The eastbound right lane of the interstate remained closed as of noon Wednesday because of the collision. So there's a picture here that we have that you can see in the show notes of the airplane that, I don't know, what kind of airplane is this? Is that a Beechcraft? Or is that a Piper? I can't tell.
I don't know.
But
looks like a
It
has
might be an Arrow because
has a
it looks like it's got
three-bladed prop.
retractable gear.
Yeah, it does look like it has retractable gear.
Yeah.
3-bladed
And-
prop, has wings, one of which
Yeah.
is damaged on the left wing.
The left one is damaged.
The one that was hit by the
unfortunately.
truck. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the only information we have on that.
Well,
but-
I mean, unfortunately that it got hit by the truck because it sounds like it was probably well executed until that point.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the risk you
I
take if you're
know.
going to land on a highway, I suppose.
It was going so
Yeah.
well.
Until
Until,
the truck
Well,
showed up.
It wasn't going great if you're landing on a highway to begin with, but you
yeah.
know, this sounds like a good outcome considering.
But there's no information about whether it was fuel starvation or if it was engine
Who knows?
issues or whatever, but whatever. There you go.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, he did a great job. I mean, putting it down
Mm-hmm.
on the highway there, and it's interesting how, you know, going back to learning to fly single engine props, it's basically hammered into your brain to always be on the lookout for a landing spot
Truck.
in case your engine fails. And when you really, that's what I was going to say. When you really should be on the lookout for trucks. So it's a sad situation, but
It is.
glad that we got nothing but bruised egos. That's it.
And bruised left wing.
Bruised
There
left
we go.
wing. Yeah, and
And a bruised
probably-
truck, maybe a little bit too.
Yeah, probably
Not as
Well,
much
that-
as the airplane.
You
but
know what, though? Yeah, the truck probably doesn't have even a
Yeah,
dent
truck
on
like
it.
like a little
huh?
paint
What?
scratch. Like, huh.
Yeah, exactly. So Yeah, that's too bad.
Oh, well.
They could have just flown the thing out.
Looks like mostly a happy ending. I don't
Like
think anybody was
that,
injured.
we talked about the one in Tennessee the other
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that one? Yeah, where the guy took off after refueling, landed on the highway.
We
Did we
didn't
talk?
talk
Did we
about
cover
that.
that one? Oh, we
No,
didn't talk
Liz
about
said
that.
we
Oh,
didn't.
sorry.
Is that something that we're going to talk about in the future, Liz? We might, she says. I don't know.
Well, that was interesting to me anyway, because he took off on a very curved part of the
Yeah.
highway. So everyone was saying, "Oh, look, circular runways. It's a
There
thing."
it is. It works.
Oh, yeah. Liz said that maybe you can do a dramatic reenactment.
No,
No? I think
dramatic
you should.
reenactment.
And sing at the same time. I think that you should. I love that idea. Okay, we'll work on that between
that
now
for
and
next
the next
show.
episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little
Steph will
prep time
start
on that.
practicing.
Ta-da.
Christmas special. Yes. Okay. Let's move on before we get into too much trouble. This one, item G, a Royal Maroc Boeing 737-800 at London on February 28th, 2020. Oh, it was quite some time ago. Late rotation for takeoff. Royal Air Maroc Boeing 737-800 registration, Charlie November Romeo Golf Juliet, performing Flight 807 from London Gatwick to Casablanca. Frankly, my dear, with 139 passengers and 6 crew, was accelerating for takeoff from Gatwick's runway 26 left when the automated V1 and rotate calls did not occur. The aircraft rotated at a speed 37 knots above rotate and 120 meters / 400 feet short of the runway end. The aircraft climbed out to safety and continued to Casablanca for a safe landing. On September 10th, 2020, just a few days ago, the Air Accidents Investigation Board released their final bulletin concerning the probable cause of the serious incident was, during the takeoff roll, the V1 automatic call did not occur, and the takeoff speeds were not displayed on the primary flight display. This led to a late rotation. The incident shows that automatic calls may not always work as the flight crew expects, and they should be ready to respond appropriately. And they summarized the sequence of events. The co-pilot was a pilot flying for the return sector. Runway 26 left was in use with a light southerly wind and rain. The cloud was broken at 900 feet, and the temperature was 6 degrees Celsius. The flight crew planned to depart from intersection Alpha using flap 1 and an assumed temperature of 55 degrees Celsius. So an assumed temperature takeoff, lower power setting. They had calculated takeoff speeds of V1 144, V rotate 152, and V2 155. The commander reported that these takeoff performance figures were loaded into the FMC. Trust me, they were. On stand, and no changes were required during the taxi to the runway. The aircraft entered the runway at intersection Alpha and was clear for takeoff. At 80 knots, the commander confirmed that the airspeed indications were normal, and the flight crew were next expecting to hear the aircraft announce V1, but this automatic call did not occur. When the commander realized the automatic call had not occurred, he checked his PFD and saw the V-speed bugs were not displayed on the speed tape. He felt that the aircraft was slow, so he allowed it to accelerate whilst he evaluated the situation. He did not recall if the speeds were still displayed on his control display unit. As the end of the runway approached, he instructed the co-pilot to initiate a smooth rotation. The aircraft took off, and the remainder of the flight proceeded without further incident. No aircraft caution or warning messages were seen at any stage. The commander reported that the lack of the automatic call in the aircraft's technical log he reported the lack of the automatic call in the tech log, the logbook. Subsequent investigation by the operator did not find any aircraft faults. The automatic calls worked normally on the preceding flight and subsequent flights. Let's see. The nose wheel lifted off at 189 knots. The aircraft was airborne approximately 120 meters before the end of the runway at 196 knots and 13 seconds after the planned rotation speed. What, Rick, I've never flown an airplane that has automated call-outs, like the automated V1 call-out, but isn't there some kind of a backup procedure that you have in place so that if the machine doesn't give you one of these calls that you kind of already know what the V1 should be and you just kind of use that as your backup?
Yeah, so it's basically to understand how this works a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. And basically, what you do is, as part of your pre-flight, once you come up with the speeds based on your takeoff weight and the runway and the wind and all that stuff, you're going to plug those speeds into your takeoff reference page, right, which is one of the pages of the flight management system. Usually, the pilot flying, and this can vary depending on procedures from airline to airline, but on most airlines, usually the pilot flying will have the takeoff reference page displayed, and the pilot monitoring will have the legs page displayed or the flight plan page displayed.
So you can just glance down and see the speeds.
So you can see the speeds. Now, as you plug the speeds into your takeoff reference page, V1 under V1, VR under VR, and V2 under V2, this will automatically populate on your primary flight display. All right, so that's the screen that's in front of each pilot, and this is the screen that has the artificial horizon, your speed tape on the left, your altitude on the right, your compass in the bottom, and then your flight mode initiations at the top. The only automated call out is V1. It's the only one that's automated. VR it's made by the pilot monitoring, and then depending on the airlines, V2 can or is often called out, or sometimes it's not. At my airline, we don't call V2. Neither, and we didn't at Land Chile. We didn't call.
Yeah,
V2.
we don't at Acme either.
Yeah. So if you find yourself in a situation like this one, the book says the flight crew the flight crew operations manual, the FCOM 1, basically, then that's the manual that lists out the procedures and spells out how the airplane has to be flown. On the takeoff chapter of the FCOM 1, it'll tell you that if for some reason you forget to set the speeds, or the speeds delete themselves for some weird reason, you will go off of your V2 speed. And then the reason behind you go off your V2 speeds, because once you come up with your V2 speeds, when you came up with your performance numbers, you will set your V2 in your control display unit, in your FMS, your flight management system, like we said, but you'll also set it up on your load control panel. And this is actually a speed knob that you'll turn to your V2 speed, right? So as you turn that to the V2 speed, it'll automatically populate your magenta tick or your commanded speed to whatever you have it set up on your MCP load control panel, right? So if you lose your V speeds for V1 in rotation, the book says to rotate 5 to 10 knots below what your V2 is indicated on your mode control panel. So to me, I mean, obviously I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but I think the guy he must have been, trying to figure out what the heck was going on with his speed. And in the meantime, the airplane was barreling down the runway and was trying to troubleshoot why his speeds were not showing up on his display. Or all he really had to do was look at his V2 and rotate 5 to 10 knots below that.
Right.
That's one thing. So,
so if the VR, the rotate speed, is not an automated call, why didn't the pilot monitoring call out the rotation? Maybe because he didn't really know what it was.
Because he didn't have it. He didn't see it. He didn't have it displayed. So the thing is that when you don't have V speeds entered into your control display unit along your speed tape, it'll say no V speeds. Okay. You will have, though, as I said, the magenta tick indicating what your V2 speed is, because that's your commanded speed. That's a commanded speed that is set through your speed knob on your.
So that's a great backup then.
Exactly.
If you start seeing the V2 speed, okay, you can just subtract. What did you say? 5 to 10 knots.
5 to 10 knots. That's what the book says. 5 to 10 knots. And if you want to be conservative, 5 knots is fine. And just do a slow rotation, and you'll get off the ground. Now, the other thing that we were kind of talking about before we started recording here is the fact that one of the limitations that not a lot of people think about is the tires, and the tires do have limitations, speed limitations, and a lot of these airliners have Category D tires, which are rated for a certain number of miles per hour. And if you go beyond that, the structural integrity of the tire is not guaranteed. And the worst thing that can happen to you is have a tire blow up on you, at the worst possible moment, and you find yourself without knowing what your V1 speed is, with a blown tire. You try to go and reject the takeoff, and now you can't because your tires don't work. So it's a very, very critical balancing act of getting the airplane off the runway safely there. So again, if for some reason you forget to set your speeds or they disappear, always look at what your V2 is and make a mental note of what your V2 is.
Yeah.
And rotate 5 to 10 knots below that, and you'll
It's
be
interesting that they give the tire limit speeds in miles per hour and not knots.
Yeah. It's I think category D is 224 miles per hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then that translates to whatever that is in knots. But if the guy got off the ground at about 190 knots, I mean, I would the fastest I ever got off the ground on a 747-8, and this is at max takeoff weight close to 1 million pounds, was I think V1 was 180 something and VR was 185.
Wow.
My V2 was 200 knots though.
That's fast.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're getting right up against that
200 knots. So you go 200 minus 10, 190. Rotation was about 185, 180, whatever it was. So you're right about. So it's a good rule.
I was going to say 224 is 194 knots.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why the book says that. So. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that the tires didn't pop on them. But yeah, it sounds to me, I don't know. I wasn't there. It sounds to me like they may have done something incorrectly in loading up the box or whatever.
Yeah, I can only think of one reason why the speeds would wipe out from the system, and the only thing, unless there's a specific technical circular or some kind of engineering document that says that that particular type of flight management system has some kind of bug that needs to be worked out, and it does happen, and and we as flight crews are made aware of that, and basically the circular tells the pilot, the flight crew, how to deal with it and how to fix it if you're dealt with it, if you have to deal with that situation. But other than that, the only other way that you would be able to wipe the speeds out after loading them is by selecting reverse thrust prior to takeoff. A lot of times, and actually I do it, but I'll only do it on taxi in to try to keep the brakes as cool as I can. On very, very long taxis, I'll go to idle reverse, and but it's really not an issue with my V speeds for takeoff because this is after landing, right? So it's really
you don't need the V speeds anymore.
Exactly. So the only other way that those speeds will get wiped out is if you select reverse thrust on there prior part of takeoff. That'll wipe off your speeds.
That could have been what happened.
Yeah, so that's
it's a good thing because I don't think that Royal Maracas ever have any other takeoff incidents.
No, especially in Frankfurt. So,
Frankfurt, yeah. Oh well, very good. Well, I'm glad that you were here to kind of lend your expertise. The Wikipedia at play. Once again, thank you very much. There we go. Liz is putting up the Wikipedia graphic on the overlay there. The Human Aviation Encyclopedia.
Look at that guy.
I knew you would have a good explanation for all of this. So thank you, Rick. Okay. And then let's move on to the last item in the news folder, which is from businessinsider.com. Supersonic Air Force One startup boom gets U.S. Air Force contract. With new funding from the Air Force. Oh, wait, that's the caption for the photo there of the artist rendering of the potential supersonic boom aircraft, which looks pretty darn slick in Air Force One colors. Aerospace startup Boom Supersonic just won a U.S. Air Force contract to develop jets that can carry high-ranking government officials at faster than the speed of sound. The supersonic jet, which could potentially even serve as Air Force One, could cut transoceanic travel times in half and would be ready in about 9 years. Boom will launch a demonstrator aircraft later this year. Once it proves that its concept works, it will begin building a full-size supersonic jetliner. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the name of the company, Boom. It's just like,
Yeah, it's
I mean, it does convey perhaps supersonic.
yeah.
yeah.
No, it makes
But
me
maybe
think.
not in a
Well,
positive way.
But
no,
I think of Professor or Inspector Clouseau opening up the door and then the guy handing him the bomb.
no, it makes me think of
Boom.
Wile E. Coyote. That's what I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's another
So-
good one. Anyway, so yeah, Boom has designed the Overture, which is still in development, as a single-aisle business class plane, which seats laid out with the seats laid out in a 1-1 configuration. With the new funding from the Air Force, Boom plans to explore ways to customize the plane, both inside and out, for government work. Cutting travel times will make it possible for U.S. diplomats and executive leaders to connect more frequently in person, meeting challenges and diffusing potential crises with a personal touch. With a personal touch. Boom founder and CEO Blake Scholl said in a press release. What do you think? Think this is something that's actually has the potential to actually happen?
I don't know. It's a possibility, and that money, that budget has to be spent somewhere and somehow. So, but I 8 times out of 10, these, I guess, projects don't go past the research phase.
Yeah.
And but I mean, it'd be interesting because I mean, it's I tell you, this is the only time really that we've taken a step back in aviation after Concorde stopped flying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 2003 that I think it stopped flying, something like that. So
I don't recall exactly when, but around that.
Mm.
Yeah.
it's been a long time since.
Yeah, it's about time we start getting going forward with this supersonic travel or hypersonic.
I guess it just
even, maybe.
depends on the actual need for it. Is there a need to travel supersonic to far off destinations
and how much it's going to cost
for government
to do
leaders?
it.
Well, it costs to do it. It's funny putting political stuff and government stuff aside, which there's probably more need to be attending in-person meetings and things like that. The rest of the world is kind of going the other direction, especially now with coronavirus, where, hey, I don't really have to be there in person. I can just do this on, over the internet.
And that's a lot faster.
Video chat. Yeah, it's instantaneous. Yeah.
From Boom to Zoom.
Yep. Oh, that's a good title there.
That is a good title. I like it.
Boom to Zoom. Write that down, Liz.
Nice.
She's already on it.
She's on it. Love it. Thank you, Rick.
You got it.
All right. Anything else to say about this?
No, it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. Looks cool. But I'd like to see it, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Moving along to feedback, and we're gonna start with 17, which is the normal place that we always start. We always start with 17, not 1. Let's see. This is from Glaucus, which I'm pretty sure we're pronouncing correctly. He says, "Hi, crew. Hope you are all well. This is for Miami Rick. We used to say that people's chat was near the water cooler. If planes could talk, where would they do it? At the cargo terminal, of course." Now, I guess that means I have to kind of share my screen so everybody can see this little picture that he sent in, because otherwise it's not going to really make a lot of sense. So here we go. Share. Okay. There we go. There are a couple of 747 freighters with one says Acme Giant and the other says Polar. And they appear to be talking to each other and smiling and laughing. And then there's some Spanish.
No, it's Portuguese. It says,
Portuguese. Okay. Can you
basically,
read?
it says, I don't know what they're talking about, but it must be funny.
Okay, thank you. I could have done that.
Yeah. They just saw
Something about a conversation.
So, yeah.
Estel conversando. Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for the Portuguese.
Muito engraçado.
Now say, okay, él está conversando, mas debe ser muito engraçado.
Yeah, there you go. So anybody Nelson, is he in the chat room? We need Nelson. He knows Portuguese. Oh, well.
Very nice.
He's
Oh, there we go. Translation right there.
Oh, really? Where?
right underneath the picture.
Oh.
It's literally written right there.
Ah,
There you go.
I should have scrolled down a little bit more.
There you go.
I see. That's why you said don't know what they're talking about, but it must be. I see. I thought that was from you, not the translation.
No,
I think that was
what
Rick.
that was for me. But then I see that's what the translation is. Like, oh, I guess I'm above 50%.
There you are.
Ding.
Ding. Okay, wait. I'm trying to find my bell. It's here we go. Yeah.
Nice.
So Glaucus, aka G-Man, says, Miami Rick, please reach out next time you're in Sydney. Drinks are on me. So hey, if you're thirsty, Rick, get in touch with Glaucus.
I tell you what, you can bake me a cake with a file in it. I'll break out.
Get out of there.
There you go.
Maybe in post-COVID, that would work out better. All right. Well, thank you, Glaucus, for setting that in, and I do apologize for screwing that up. But that's pretty much normal for me. 18. This is JJ from AVL here. So JJ from Asheville. Hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to share what I saw when I was doing some paperwork in one of Acme's B717s. And so he has a picture here of the control yoke placard. And interestingly, I think I may have mentioned it on the last show, that the placard here doesn't say B717, it says MD95. Hence, my movement to basically say that the Mad Dogs are not dead. They're still flying, and I'm going to fly one of them. I'm going to start training on it in a couple of weeks, the MD95. Although somebody scratched out MD95 and put in DC-9 Neo, new engine option.
It's very nice.
Good.
Those weights are really low compared to what I was flying before, but hey, it's a smaller airplane. What can I say?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for you especially. I think you probably carry more fuel than the
I was going to say,
max weight
it's probably
of
not
the.
even a fuel weight.
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
My fuel for the flat today was 127,000 pounds.
There you go. Which is greater.
Just the fuel.
Greater than the max taxi weight.
Yeah, the max taxi weight's 122 on this. That's okay. I don't need a Corvette to, show what a man I am. So, and I'm not, don't take that the wrong way. I didn't mean to make it seem like you do. I'm just saying that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm in trouble now. Dang it.
You'll
now
fix
I've
that
really
in post. It's fine.
My bad. I'm going to keep reading. Also for Miami Rick, do you have any suggestions for becoming an AMP? I was hoping to become a pilot, but my medical has been rescinded. I have done some research, but I was wondering what, if anything, I need to know.
Well, the AMP, it's a good way to go. But I'll tell you, the way I got my AMP was actually back in high school, back in Miami, starting in 10th grade. If you had the grades, you could apply for vocational school, vocational training, and you could either go to AMP school, and there were a couple other vocational schools that you could apply to, other programs that you could apply to. But obviously, the one I wanted was aviation. So I actually got half of my airframe power plant certificate through just high school, really. So
I saw the place that he got it, actually, right there next to the Miami International Airport.
Yeah, it's right at the end of runway threshold of runway 2
or 8 right
left,
or threshold of 26 left. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, that used to be 27 right. Before they had the
south runways.
Before that, exactly. So that used to be 27 right. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where I went, and it worked out perfectly because I used to go to high school in the morning from 7 to about lunchtime, 11:30, and then they would take us on a school bus over to the AMP school there at the airport, and go there from about noon to 2:30 every day, and it was great because after that I would go Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I had an internship across the street at the Miami-Dade Aviation Department, working at airside operations, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays I used to go to community college to work on college credits. So I mean it worked out perfectly. The college campus was right on the airport as well, so
So obviously JJ from Asheville can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean the thing. Well, I'm sorry. What I was getting to. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. What I was
No
going,
problem.
what I was getting at here is that AMP is a good way to go. I don't know what kind of schools are available in your area.
I know for certain. A friend of a friend did their A&P down in Greenville, Spartanburg, at one of the community colleges, and that's not terribly far from Asheville. I don't know if anything in Asheville has a program, but that's like an hour drive. It's not far.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And well, and the program itself, it's broken up, and so before you get to the airframe and power plant part of it, you go through what's called general. So you just your general aviation knowledge type stuff, and then you'll break off to airframe 1 and airframe 2, and then power plant 1 and power plant 2. Obviously, airframe 1 being the most, the more basic stuff. Sheet metal work, composite work, stuff like that. And then airframe 2 is you get into the systems, the more complicated type stuff. The same thing with power plant 1 and power plant 2. And then just like any other FA certificate, you go through an oral, a practical exam, and a written exam. So,
but if you have a little bit of extra money on the side, can't you contact one of the inspectors and give them a bribe?
Yeah, you can, but just don't get caught.
We talked about, what was that?
I remember that. That was
back?
like,
I remember that one.
Maybe that was even last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, it wasn't that long ago. I remember that one.
No, it's probably since March.
Yeah.
I've lost track of time.
It's 2020. It's all
Was it
irrelevant.
2020?
Still, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything for him to do to like prep for it, or not really, I guess?
I mean, you can. Everything is online too. But back when I was preparing for it, prepping for it, there was basically no internet, no Amazon,
big
none of
like
that stuff.
books
So
with practice tests and that.
So
kind
I used
of
to
thing?
I used to go to Barnes and Noble and just sit there and just read. But
What
now
you didn't buy these things?
I couldn't. I was a broke student. I couldn't
I
afford
mean,
it.
as long as you buy like something from the coffee shop at this
Yeah,
time,
it's,
right? Like you're good to go for
right.
hours. Just sit down in
a cup of water and a straw. That made me worthy. So
You need to go back to that place. Oh, never mind. They're no longer in business. Oh, I wonder why.
no one.
Yeah, exactly. It's all my fault. So
And mine too. I used to spend a lot of time in one in
I think Barnes and Noble is
Waikiki.
still in business, isn't it?
No, there's still a few.
There's still a
Are
business.
they?
in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Barnes
okay.
and Noble is.
There's
Yeah.
still a
Oh,
few.
Borders. Is that the one
Borders
that's
is
out
out
of
of
business?
Borders,
sorry.
went out of business.
They
long
both
time
start
ago.
with a B. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
can't keep track
exactly.
of these things. Sorry.
But now, as I was saying, there's everything's online, and a lot of these books are actually online for free and PDF format. So all you have to do is really just look up what you want, and any book on just Google airframe and power plant textbooks, and you'll find stuff all over the place, and it's a lot of it's for free on PDF format, so you just download it and just read up on that. So
And it's a great job, and it's I think they pay pretty well as well.
oh yeah, it's a great job. It's very rewarding. It's it's hard work, but it's good work. It's it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, if you're if it's financially feasible for you right now, just schoolwork wise, I'd say just jump into it, get started.
Yeah.
That's the best way to move forward with things.
And you can
Absolutely.
be just like Steph and have get dirt and grease under your fingernails.
I've been working on trying to get it out from under my fingernails, and it's not working.
Well, why do you have dirt and stuff underneath your fingernails, Steph?
So I was not playing A&P mechanic today. I was
No?
working on putting the all the parts back on the Jeep that I had removed back in like June. So doors, hard top, taking off the soft top. It's all
Like
a
all
little
the
bit
stuff that
dusty
most people have
and
on their
dirty.
Jeep that you took off.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to keep that on during the summer?
Why?
It's,
I don't know.
but anyway,
Right.
that's due to the aforementioned significant rainfall we're expecting tomorrow.
Yes.
Needed to have a vehicle that's a little more watertight.
You know what I would have done is I would have just left it how it was and just drive around with an umbrella.
There were a few times during the summer I could have used an umbrella while driving, but it was a little warmer. Tomorrow's not going to be very warm, so that didn't sound very pleasant.
Yeah.
Just cold and rain.
All right. Let's keep moving. We only have 10 minutes left.
What?
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah. unfortunately. Thank you, JJ from Asheville. Hope that helped. 16, Becky says, hello. It's the PT for pelvic floors again. Huh?
Yes. You don't remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
She is a, what do they call it? What's the PT?
Physical therapist.
Physical therapist for pelvic floors. Yeah, we had the little issue about urination urgency.
Yeah, someone asked
something.
about that, and I quoted some very old and wrong
I
information.
thought it was
so
a great
straight.
thing that you said, and but apparently Becky said, no. I'm sure you explained ETOPs before. Is there a way I can search the archive for a topic? Any chance you would explain again with or without rickets? Well, there's no way that we can explain it again without rickets. Here, let me make sure that we play that right there.
Cue him up.
Yep.
Nah, this is
Okay.
we'll try to make this really simple. So ETOP stands for extended twin engine operations. Basically, what that means is that anytime you fly further than 60 minutes or an hour away from an airport on two engines, that puts you in ETOPs territory. As long as you're flying, so in order for you to fly in ETOPs airspace, you need to have, the crew has to be qualified and the airplane has to be certified to fly ETOPs. And by being certified, that means that the airplane has to have not only the normal systems to operate from point A to point B, but it needs to have a certain level of systems redundancy in case of issues or failures en route. For example, you need to have an extra source of electrical generation power generation. You need to have an extra set of or enhanced firefighting capability you need to have. So these are the kinds of things that make you legal to fly over extended expanses, and not necessarily water, because I've flown ETOPs over land. When you fly over north to south over Africa, you go hours
because there are
and
not
hours
a lot of places to go. Right?
Exactly, because ETOPS is defined by what's called adequate airports. So airports that have the navigational facilities to bring you in to a certain height over the runway, be able to see and land safely, and also the facilities to accommodate the size of aircraft that you're flying in, and also the emergency equipment required to be there for you if you need said emergency equipment. So there's a couple of things. So it's not only the airplane, it's also the airport that defines what ETOPS airspace is. So that's basically what ETOPS is. Anytime you're further than an hour away from a suitable airport, that puts you in ETOPS. Now there's different categories of ETOPS. There's 120-minute ETOPS, which basically means 2 hours away from a suitable airport. 180-minute ETOPS, which is 3 hours, which is the most common type. And it goes all the way up to 300-minute ETOPS, which is basically 5 hours. Our 777s used to have 300-minute ETOPS. Basically, when you think about it, being the closest airport to being able to divert to being 5 hours away is a long ways away, and that's a testament to the engines and the systems and how advanced these aircraft are.
Wow.
Oftentimes, it used to when ETOPS first started, it used to be that it was only for twin engine operations, but you really do also on the 747 fly, for example, ETOPS as well, because now your ETOPS, I guess endurance is based on your firefighting capability. So how long can you hold a fire off before you're able to divert and land and not have that fire, consume the aircraft?
Which is very critical for freight operations, right?
Exactly right. Mm-hmm. Exactly right. So that's basically what ETOPS is. Anytime you're more than an hour away, you're in ETOPS airspace.
Wow.
Hey, if you want to hear more about ETOPS and maybe listen to a couple of dispatchers talk about it from their perspective, I think the most recent, Hillel just reminded me that the most recent Flying in Life podcast was all about ETOPS. So
yeah, the dispatchers are the ones that really are focused on that kind of stuff, because when they're kind of tasked with planning flights and they know all the rules regarding all that kind of stuff. What does Mike call ETOPS? Engines turn or people swim? Or people
passenger
swim.
swim.
Yeah. And it's really interesting that you say that the dispatchers, because they play a huge part in all this. It's so it's really 50-50 up there because and it's interesting having done an ETOPS flight myself today from Tokyo down here to Sydney. It's a very well choreographed dance, really, where the ETOPS points are defined by a on your flight plan by longitude and latitude points along your track of flight, and usually, not usually, every time those points coincide with your engine out speed, which for the 767 is 442 nautical miles per hour. So that's your engine out speed. So what we'll do for reference is we'll enter those ETOPS points, and basically those ETOPS points will define the ETOPS airspace, so the 60-minute away from the suitable airport. So we'll put those points along the route there, and I will using the fixed page in my flight management system, I will draw 442 mile rings from the one airport on the on this side, on the near side of the route, and 442 mile ring on the far side of the route, and those two rings will define the ETOPS airspace itself. And that's good for situational awareness because you get to what's called an ETP, which is the equal time point between the entry and the exit point along your ETOPS airspace. And that ETP is very, very important because if anything happens up until your ETP, you need to return to the airport that's behind you. If anything happens after your ETP, you go to the airport that's behind you. And the interesting thing about that ETP is that ETP is not in the geographic middle point between the entry and the exit, because that ETP really takes into account the wind, because you might have a very strong tailwind, which is what that is going to do is going to move the equal time point, because it's equal time, not equal distance. Equal time point is going to move that equal time point closer to your origin airport, because if you have to come back, you're going to be fighting a headwind. So that ETP needs to be closer to your origin airport, the origin ETOPS airport. So that's basically it. ETOPS 60 minutes or longer. That's what ETOPS means.
Excellent. Yeah, maybe. Liz talk to me. Sorry. I just wanted to mention before we move on that Becky did send a link to an article from simpleflying.com about why a Boeing 777 once flew Hong Kong to London the wrong way around. And I think it was basically to kind of show off the 777-200 LR's impressive performance and range. And so if you want to read about that and other stuff about ETOPS, please check out the show notes. And so, Liz, 8 would be better than doing number 3 from Henrik?
Is this what we're ending with?
Yeah, we only have a couple of minutes left, so
8 is kind of lighthearted.
Okay, so Steph, you're not off the hook. Next time we do a show, you're going to have to be here for number 3 feedback from Henrik, the bicycle repairman. But we're going to move to number 8, our last piece of feedback before we end up part 2 of episode 443 today. This is from Jacob, and he says, so, from someone who exclusively listens to the audio-only podcast, you sure do say, quote, I'll edit this in post a lot. I do. Guilty. I'm starting to think, have you ever edited this in post? Or am I just hearing the odd few whoopsies that make it through to the audio podcast? And if you don't actually edit this in post, does this affect your 50% average you're shooting for? Anyway, all the best. And this is, again, from Jacob from Down Under, I believe. Isn't he from Australia? I think he is.
He goes on to say something about Foster's beer.
Oh, he does, yes. Oh, by the way, my apologies for not replying to Nick's retort about Foster's beer. I was too busy laughing at Captain Jeff's attempt to pronounce the names of the Aussie towns I included in my original email that by the time I finally stopped laughing, episode 4, wait a minute, that's not funny. Episode 440 was published and more pressing questions had to be asked.
It's all right. Nick's not here to defend himself again.
Yeah, I kind of butchered a lot of those names, but that was the whole point of him including them, obviously.
That's right. You read the names. Nick just did the retort.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I tried, but I got about 50% of them, I think.
There you go.
Ding. Shoot. Okay. Here we go. So, don't worry. It'll all be compressed in the final product, which brings us to his question about editing in post. I really actually do edit a lot of stuff in post and try to tighten it, especially for the audio only podcast. I try to tighten things up, but I have to admit, lately, I've been including a lot of stuff that I normally would have maybe months ago or years ago, completely cut out and edited in post. But when I'm editing, I have to be honest, I laugh out loud at some of the stuff that we do or some of the stuff that I say that's just ridiculous. And we laugh. And so I'm thinking, I think it's kind of unfair that the people that are listening to the audio only don't get a chance to experience that. So over time, Yeah, it's too sterile. So over time, I've kind of, included more of the stuff that, it's not so professional. So
you could leave in a teaser every once in a while just to encourage them to come and join the live broadcasts.
yeah,
There you go.
exactly. That's exactly right. That's why I do it. Maybe.
And you know what? I like that too. It's a bit more organic. It's more, I guess, it's more personal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what I love
that.
about podcasting is the fact that it's not a professional, slick radio program. It's like these are people just like me that are like in front of a microphone and are sharing their knowledge and experience. And, we're not perfect and we make mistakes. And
Yes.
so I think it's kind of fun sometimes. Liz is laughing in the background.
She just
lot.
knows how perfect we actually are.
Yeah, she knows the truth to all of this.
And now she's shaking her head very emphatically.
Yeah, Liz says she's the most perfectivist of all.
That is true, actually.
So yeah, I don't fix as much in post as I used to, and mainly because I think a big part of what we do here on the APG is try to give you a show that is sometimes sort of informative, but mostly entertaining. And I think that if I cut out too much of the blunders and mistakes, then it's not as entertaining as it could be.
It's going to feel like a college lecture. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, really.
Now, Jen makes a good point that not everyone can join in the live broadcast. So
That's true.
apologies
That's
for
true as
insinuating
well.
that. But I don't think really anything gets cut out of the YouTube.
No.
Replay.
So whether you're here for the live or not, the YouTube is always available and it's always included in the show notes, by the way. And I should mention also, I've had people say, well, when I watch the video playback, you guys don't start the show sometimes until like a half an hour into the thing. And maybe you should start it from the point where you're actually recording the show. And I replied that, well, I think that a lot of the folks that listen to our show enjoy our little pre-show banter. And I also always include in the video, in the description, I think, where the show start time is, and there's a time code there that you can click on, and it'll take you right to the point where we attempt, at least our first attempt at recording the show. Sometimes it takes a few takes before we actually get going on the real show. But so it's there for you have options. If you want to hear the whole thing, then you can start from the beginning. If you want to go right to the point where we record, you can hit that time code. And then if you want to really dial in to the things that you want to listen to and the things that you don't want to listen to. You might be somebody who says, you know what, I don't care about you all and your private lives, which makes me sad actually to think about. But, you can skip the getting to know us portion of the show if you're listening to the audio podcast, because we have these chapter markers and stuff, and you can just go right to whatever you think might be interesting to hear us talk about. So we try to make it as user-friendly as possible. So there you go. Okay, Hillel, I see that you're in the live audience, and I need you to get over to the bathroom. And so we're going to give him a couple seconds to do that while thank you everyone for listening to the show, downloading it, many, many different ways to consume our content. And everybody has their preferred way to do it. And we do appreciate the fact that anybody is listening. And we also really appreciate the fact that many of you who are listening get value from it and give us value back. So that's our value to value proposition as far as funding. No advertising here. And so I don't want to put you through listening to ads, because I don't like listening to podcasts that have ads, actually. So with that, let's move over to, before we go over to Hillel, because he's going to have time to get into the shower, we're going to talk about the website that we have, that you can learn more about the show and the crew and the community, which is the most important thing. And I'm not just saying that. The library, our librarian, Tiffany takes care of that for us. Thank you, Tiffany. We have information about the coffee fund and merchandise. And we also have a separate Plain Tales page where Nick, even though he puts in a lot of work to the audio Plain Tales, he also goes back in after the fact and puts in a lot more information, text and photos and everything else. And there's a separate Plain Tale page for that on our website, and much, much more. And we're also, you have to be these days, right? On the social medias, or the social medias as we like to call it.
Got to be on the social medias.
Yeah.
If you're not there, what are you even doing? So check us out on Twitter. We're at APG Crew. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/airline pilot guy. And I may have shared Nick's most recent artwork for one of the shows on the Instagram, where we're also at APG Crew. So if you're not there, you should be. Hope to see you there soon. And that about sums it up for the social medias.
Doesn't he always put that stuff up himself, or you were always the one that puts it on there?
No, he puts it up, but I try to put it onto he doesn't put it on the APG Crew page. I don't think he actually has the login.
Okay. That's always really interesting. So I guess we can kind of go to the quasi-social medias thing that we have called Slack. And let's see, let me turn up the fader for the hidden microphone in the shower. Don't anybody tell him that we have a microphone in there. Hey, Hillel! Time for Slack! Slack!
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
Okay.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thank you very much, Hillel. And
No, wait, Jeff. I'm social distancing.
Okay, sorry. We're all trying to do that.
So responsible.
He is a very serious and responsible guy.
Model citizen.
Yes. And let's see what else. A big round of applause to our producer director, Liz, in Canada, Toronto to be exact. So thank you, Liz, for doing all you can to try to make us look and sound like we know what we're talking about. I know it's kind of a difficult job. And finally, thank you for listening, and take care. God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
And we'll see you next time.
Oh, I forgot to say clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds.
I was waiting for that because that's
Okay.
usually my cue.
Yeah,
too.
Let's take two. And don't forget, wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
All right. We'll see you next time. Take care. That threw
That's
me
a wrap
out.
right there.
Yeah,
I knew there was something I was saying wrong there, and I'm thinking, I don't.
And I was like, that was abbreviated. All right. What else? I was like, maybe you said it earlier with Nick.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, as Jen says, fix it in post.
I know.
Yeah, I will
Nice.
actually.
Yeah.
I'll take out the part where I forgot to say that, and then that'll be gone.
You can't hear my dog crying in the background, wanting to be let in, can you?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. I couldn't
You can-
quite hear it before either, and I was like,
I heard that actually.
yeah, it's
just
like
now.
it's very pitiful sounding. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Aww. Who is it? Is it
I think
Truman?
it's Truman, actually.
Yeah,
Let's
Truman's
find
the
out.
one that would make all the noise, I think. That Truman.
Oh, it's Taco.
Oh,
Is
really?
Oh wow.
Ah,
Oh,
Taco.
come here.
Poor guy.
There he is. Oh.
Taco.
But I think it actually was Truman making the noise.
Ah,
Truman just.
okay.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
'cause
he's still making the noise out
Yeah,
there.
Taco's not
Yeah.
as vocal as Truman.
No, no.
Yeah. You know what I need? Hillel, if you're still there, you need to send me a photo of you, like peeking
In a
out
towel.
of the shower or on in a towel or whatever.
This sounds
so that we-
very risque.
Well, you know, make it family friendly, okay? If you don't mind.
Shower
And-
cap
Yeah.
and loofah.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I like it. And then we can throw that up as an overlay when you're doing your Slack thing. Right? I like it. What do you think, Liz?
You can pixelate some of it if you want. You know.
Liz, oh, I think I lost clean feed for some
Yeah,
reason.
definitely. For effect,
Mhm.
Exactly.
or because it's family show.
Yeah,
All the
exactly. So, yeah.
things. Taco's like,
Thank you,
"Please don't
everybody,
let the other dog in."
for hanging with us. Taco, I love Taco. He's a cool guy.
Where you going?
He's a bro.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely a bro. Is
Yeah.
that what you said? Yeah.
That reminds me
Absolutely.
of
He's like Chad. He and
Great
Chad are
memories.
best friends.
Yeah,
Reminds-
he's up there with Chad.
I every time I think of Taco, I think of our little Jeep ride from Tiga K to Asheville.
Oh, to Asheville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taco
that
was a
fun?
new addition at that point. He didn't really know what was up.
Yeah, he was very new.
Yeah.
And we went up to the I always forget the name of the thing. Something to do with
Beer festival.
We went to the Brewgrass.
Yeah.
Brewgrass.
Brew
Spit it out.
Brewgrass.
Brew,
Brewgrass.
like beer and bluegrass combined together.
Yeah, that.
Brewgrass.
That's what we did. That was funny.
That was a good
Or
time.
not funny. It was fun.
It was fun.
Oh.
Yeah, it was funny.
Much
me
much
falling
alcohol.
over.
I mean, in hindsight now it was a little funny, but
Rick
not at
was
the time.
my savior. He kept me from
Cat-like reflexes there.
destroying my face on the pavement.
I know. I just saw you tell me out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, whoa!
Where are you going?
Great reaction skills Rick has. That's why he's still a co-host on the show, because he saved my life. So I owe him my life.
It's really just, paying him forever and ever.
Yeah, I'll never. I'm forever indebted to Rick for that. Anywho, thanks everybody for hanging out with us on part 2. It's late for many of us, maybe early for some of you. I know it's kind of, I don't know, early for Rick, but he needs to get to sleep. So
Yeah.
Middle of the day, but time is irrelevant.
yes,
Yeah, it's 11:15.
yeah,
Actually, I'll get something to eat. I'll probably go to bed about another hour and a half. So
okay. Well, great. Well, thanks again, everybody, and we're going to go ahead and stop the broadcast, and we're going to see you next week.
see you next
Good
week.
night. See you next time.
Bye now.